The little red live dot is glowing on the monitor when the conference room door starts shaking in its frame, like someone's trying to shoulder it off the hinges. Not a polite knock. Not even a hard knock. A full-on frantic rattling that makes the glass water carafe tremble, and my comms director's eyes go wide. I'm mid-sentence. And to be clear, we're reaffirming guidance for Q1. And then his voice punches straight through the door, loud enough that the mic catches it. Are you serious right now, Nadia? You can't even pick up your own husband's call. My CFO freezes with his mouth half open. The investor relations guy reaches for the mute button like it's a fire extinguisher. On the screen, hundreds of tiny attendee icons sit there, silent, listening, while my husband continues, muffled but furious, turning my earnings call into a hostage situation. Someone on the call types in the Q&A. Is that the CEO's spouse? The door swings open because some idiot, some sweet, helpful admin who thinks this is just a scheduling mix-up, has unlocked it from outside. And there he is, my husband, in a crisp shirt, hair done, jaw tight, eyes bright with the kind of anger that looks good on men who think they're the main character. He doesn't even clock the camera at first. He just storms in like he owns the place, like I'm in his house, not mine. Then he sees the lens. He slows down, just a fraction, and his face rearranges itself, not calmer, smarter. He glances at the camera, then at the executives sitting around me, and then he performs this horrible, fake laugh, like we're all in on the joke. Wow, he says, dripping sarcasm. So, this is what we've come to. Investors get you, but your husband doesn't. My comms director whispers, Nadia, we're live. Like I'm not the one wearing the mic. The live chat pings again. Someone posts a screenshot already. Another message. This is insane. Another. Someone get him out. I feel the heat crawl up my neck. My hands are on the table, palms flat, because if I lift them, they'll shake. I look at him, and I can taste metal in my mouth, like my body is bracing for impact. Eli, I say, voice level, because the camera is on, and I've trained myself to sound calm when my insides are flipping furniture. You need to leave. He smiles. A small, tight smile, like I just challenged him. Or what, he says, and he looks around the room like he's taking a head count. You'll have security drag me out in front of your little board friends? That'll look great for your brand. The investor relations guy finally hits mute, but it's too late. The first 30 seconds are already out there. I can see it happening in real time because my assistant bursts into the room with her laptop open, eyes panicked, whispering without breathing. It's on X. It's on TikTok. Someone clipped it. They're calling it CEO's husband crashes. Earnings call. My husband hears her, and his eyes flash with satisfaction. He pivots, literally pivots, into the camera angle, making sure he's framed. Hi, he says, cheerful now, like a host. Sorry, everyone. I'm just trying to get my wife's attention. The CFO's face goes dead. The comms director makes a strangled noise. My assistant looks like she wants to evaporate. And then my smartwatch starts going off like a smoke alarm. Not just one buzz. Continuous. Group chat notifications. Missed calls. Texts. My mom's name flashes. My dad's. A cousin I haven't heard from in years. The family group chat I haven't opened since last Christmas. Al Saeed family. Is lighting up so fast the previews blur. Is that Eli? Nadia, what is happening? Turn it off. You're embarrassing us. Call me now. I meet my husband's eyes, and I realize something sharp and ugly. He's enjoying the moment where he gets to make me small in front of an audience that matters to me. He's angry, sure, but he's also thrilled, because this is finally a stage where he's not just the husband, he's the interruption, the headline. My comms director slides a note toward me with shaking hands. End the call now. I don't. I do the one thing my husband never expects when he tries to corner me. I stay still. I turn slightly toward the camera, like I'm recentering the room, and I speak in the same tone I use with investors when they try to rattle me. We're going to take a 30-second pause, I say, calm as glass. Please, hold. Then I look at Eli again, and I don't raise my voice. I don't plead. I don't explain. I just say, security, now. Because yes, I can say that. Because I'm not in his house. I'm not in his mood. I'm the CEO. And I can feel the old me, the one who used to shrink and smooth everything over, trying to climb out of my throat and apologize on his behalf. I swallow her down. Eli's smile twitches. You're actually doing this? He hisses, dropping the performance. You're going to humiliate me? I hold his gaze. You did that yourself, I say, and it comes out colder than I meant. The words hang there. My assistant's laptop pings again, and she flinches like she got slapped. She turns the screen toward me, and my stomach drops, because now it's not just the clip. It's a screenshot from years ago, an old text thread that someone has dredged up and reposted with my name attached, like a receipt from my past. It's Eli, early in our marriage, texting me, just keep yourself pretty. I don't need a wife who's always tired and stressed. I need you to look good next to me. Under it, my reply from back then, I have a meeting. And his response, no, you have a husband. The caption on the repost says, he wanted a trophy wife. She became CEO. My throat closes so hard it hurts. Because it's real. Because I remember exactly where I was, standing when he sent it. In our kitchen, barefoot, laptop open, trying to finish a presentation, while he complained about my energy. Eli sees my face change. He follows my gaze to the laptop screen, and for the first time, he looks genuinely rattled. Where did you get that? He snaps at my assistant, like she personally hacked his phone. The comms director murmurs, it's everywhere. And I can hear the dread in his voice, because now it's not a private marriage fight. It's a public narrative. My family chat explodes again. Someone posts the screenshot with laughing emojis. Someone else says, this is private. My mother calls again, and again. My father sends a text that is so on brand, it almost makes me laugh. Turn off the internet. Eli takes one step toward me, lowering his voice like this is about to be a serious talk. Like we're alone. Nadia, don't do this, he says, and there's panic under the arrogance now. We can fix it. Just end the call. We'll go home. I cut him off with the bold move I've been rehearsing in my head for months, without admitting it. I open my laptop, click into the investor call dashboard, and I unmute myself before anyone can stop me. I apologize for the interruption, I say clearly, into the live mic, knowing every word is being recorded. This is a personal matter. It is being handled now. We will continue. I see the comms director's eyes widen, horrified and impressed at the same time. My CFO stares at me like I just rewired the building. Eli's face goes blank. Not angry. Not yet. Blank. Like he's calculating the cost of what he's just done. Security appears in the doorway. 2 guards who look like they've been told exactly who they're escorting. Eli takes half a step back, then straightens his shirt, and forces a smile again, for the camera that's still rolling. Fine, he says loudly, like he's the reasonable one. If this is how you want to treat your husband, go ahead. He points at me. Remember this. As they guide him out, he throws one last line over his shoulder, venom wrapped in fake sadness. Enjoy your little empire. Hope it keeps you warm at night. The door shuts. The room exhales like it's been underwater. My assistant is shaking. My comms director looks like he's about to faint. The chat on the call is going berserk, and my phone keeps buzzing. Mom, Dad, cousins, people who haven't spoken to me since they called me too ambitious, are suddenly desperate for a statement like, my marriage is a family press release. I stare at the red live dot again, feel my pulse hammering behind my eyes, and I realize this didn't come out of nowhere. It started years ago. When I met Eli, he was the kind of man who seemed like certainty in human form. Loud laugh, big plans, always talking about the life we're going to build. He worked in property, sales, then his own little consultancy. And he had this way of talking where everything sounded like it was already decided. People mistook it for confidence. I did too, at first. I was 26, building my career the hard way, not the glamorous way. The stay late, say yes, eat dinner at my desk way. I was ambitious, and I didn't hide it, but I also wasn't arrogant about it. I genuinely liked work. I liked solving problems. I liked being useful. Eli liked that about me in the beginning, but only in the way you like a partner who makes you look good. My girl is a weapon, he used to tell his mates, kissing my forehead like I was a trophy he'd won. The first crack was small. We were engaged, and I got offered a new role. Bigger scope, more responsibility, more money. I came home buzzing, talking fast, already planning how I'd learn everything. Eli listened, then said, "Okay, but don't let it take over." I laughed. "It's literally my job." He shrugged. "I'm just saying, I don't want to marry someone who's always unavailable." I should have heard it then. The way he framed my career as something that happened to him. After we got married, the rules started sneaking in. Not written rules. Mood rules. If I worked late, he'd sulk. If I took a call at dinner, he'd make a joke. "Sorry, I forgot I'm dating the CEO." And everyone would laugh like it was cute. If I traveled for work, he'd act supportive in public and punish me in private, with cold silence and little digs. "Must be nice," he'd say, flying around while I hold down the real world. The trophy wife comments started like banter. "Wear the red dress tonight," he'd say. "Don't wear flats, you're too tall." "Smile more, you look intense." I'd roll my eyes and do it anyway, because it seemed harmless. Then it wasn't. It became, "Why are you wearing that? You look like you're going to a meeting." It became him scanning my outfit before events, like I was a product he was packaging. When I started getting promoted faster, he didn't celebrate. He competed. If I got a raise, he'd immediately talk about his next deal. If I mentioned a win, he'd find a flaw. "Cool," he'd say, "but are they paying you what you're worth? Because honestly, you're not great at asking." He loved saying that, like my success was accidental and needed his correction. My parents didn't help. My mom has always been the type who thinks a woman's life is supposed to be balanced perfectly, like a tray you carry without spilling. She'd say things like, "Just don't forget your husband," as if I was a goldfish who might swim too far from the bowl. My dad would laugh and tell Eli, "Good luck keeping up with her." But he didn't mean it as praise. He meant it as a warning to Eli that I was a handful. Eli ate that up. One night at a family dinner, my uncle asked what I was working on. I started explaining a big project, something I was proud of, and Eli cut in, grinning. "She's obsessed," he said. "I keep telling her, babe, you don't need to prove anything. You're already married." Everyone laughed. My mom laughed too. I remember my cheeks burning, not because of the joke, but because Eli had reduced my entire drive to a cute quirk, like my ambition was a hobby that should quiet down now that I had a ring. I swallowed it. That's the theme of my 20s, honestly. Swallowing things that tasted wrong because I didn't want to be dramatic, because I didn't want to be the woman who can't take a joke, because I told myself marriage requires compromise, and I confused compromise with shrinking. The real turning point came when my company went through a crisis. Leadership change, market pressure, a messy acquisition that turned into a nightmare. I started working insane hours, not because I loved being busy, but because things were genuinely on fire, and I was good at handling fires. Eli hated it, not the stress. He didn't ask about that. He hated the attention I wasn't giving him. I'd come home at midnight and he'd be waiting on the couch, lights off like a scene from a thriller, and he'd say, "So you remember you live here?" I'd drop my bag and try to joke, "Miss me?" And he'd look at me with that flat expression and say, "I miss my wife, not your LinkedIn profile." Once, after I missed his friend's birthday dinner because my team was dealing with a legal issue, he snapped. "You're embarrassing me," he said, pacing our kitchen. "They think you don't respect me." I stared at him. "I'm sorry. Are you the one with the legal crisis?" He slammed the cupboard so hard a glass rattled. "See," he said. "This is what I mean. You're always in that tone, like you're better." Then he dropped it, casual and cruel. "Maybe if you didn't look so tired all the time, I'd feel like I had a wife." I went to bed and cried silently because I didn't want to give him the satisfaction of hearing it. In the morning, I put on makeup like armor and went to work. That's the thing. I didn't become CEO because I wanted power. I became CEO because I kept being the person who cleaned up messes when other people panicked. When our previous CEO stepped down suddenly, health issues, board pressure, the usual corporate polite phrasing, the board asked me to step in as interim. The first time they floated it, I laughed because it sounded absurd. Then they looked at me seriously and said, "We need someone who won't flinch." Eli's reaction was weird. At first he bragged. He posted a photo of us at a gala with the caption, "My wife is taking over Lysash like I was his conquest." He started calling himself CEO husband as a joke, but he used it like a title. He wanted to come to every event. He wanted to be seen. He wanted to stand next to me in photos like I was an extension of his brand. And at home, he got worse. Because suddenly, he couldn't pretend my job was a phase. Suddenly, it was bigger than him, and he couldn't stand that. He started complaining about everything in the language of concern. "I'm worried you're burning out," he'd say, while also sulking if I didn't cook. "I just want us back," he'd say, while also texting me mid-meeting. "Where are you?" Like I'd wandered off in a shopping center. If I came home late, he'd say, "You didn't even ask about my day," then launch into a monologue about someone wasting his time in a deal. If I fell asleep during a movie, he'd whisper, "Wow, must be nice to have a wife who's alive." I started keeping my laptop in my car sometimes so I could sit in the driveway for 10 minutes after work, breathing, bracing myself. I hated that about myself. I hated that home felt like another performance. The humiliating message that went viral today, the "keep yourself pretty" text, wasn't the worst thing he ever said. It was just the cleanest receipt, the one that fit in a screenshot. Because the real pattern was this: Eli didn't want me successful. He wanted me impressive. There's a difference. He wanted me polished and smiling and available, so he could stand next to me and feel bigger. The moment my success demanded time, attention, boundaries, he treated it like betrayal. I tried to fix it. I did. I suggested counseling. He laughed. So I'm the problem now? I tried scheduling date nights. He'd sabotage them by picking a fight about work on the way there. I tried being softer, quieter, smaller. He liked it for about a week. Then he got bored and started poking at me again because he wanted control more than peace. And my parents, classic, took the easy side. He just misses you, my mom would say, like missing me, justified contempt. My dad would say, marriage is give and take. But he always meant I should give, and Eli should take. The thing that made me stop pretending was discovering what Eli was doing while he complained about me never being home. It wasn't a mistress with a dramatic reveal and lipstick on a collar. It was worse in a quiet way. He was telling people I was neglectful. He was building a narrative where he was the abandoned husband of a cold, corporate woman. He'd message his friends things like, "She thinks she's above everyone now." He'd tell his mother, "She doesn't care about family anymore." He'd even made a joke in a group chat, one I only saw later because one of his friend's girlfriends forwarded it to me. I married a trophy wife, and she turned into a boardroom robot. The girlfriend wrote, "I'm sorry, but this felt gross." I stared at that line for a long time, and I felt this weird clarity. Because I'd been trying so hard to be both things at once, soft wife and hard leader, that I hadn't admitted the truth. Eli didn't love me as I was becoming. He loved me as I could be used. Today, him barging into my earnings call wasn't a spontaneous meltdown. It was the peak of a long pattern. Him demanding I shrink in the exact moments I needed to stand tall. So when the clip goes viral, and the texts resurface, and my family starts calling like this is their crisis to manage, I don't rush to patch it. I don't scramble to protect him. I don't do the thing I've always done. Take the mess, hide the mess, apologize for the mess. Instead, after the call ends, after I somehow get through the rest of the deck, with my voice steady, while my heart tries to climb out of my ribs, I walk out of that conference room and straight into my private office with my comms director, my assistant, and our general counsel following like a funeral procession. My assistant is crying now, wiping her face angrily like she hates herself for it. "I'm sorry," she keeps saying. "I'm sorry." "It's not your fault," I say, and I mean it. But my voice is flat because I'm running on adrenaline and fury. My comms director holds up his phone. "We need a statement," he says. "Investors are asking if you're okay. Media wants comment. The board is texting me." My phone is ringing again. Mum, Dad, Eli, from an unknown number because I blocked him while I was still on mute. The family chat is a war zone. "Nadia, pick up, this is shameful, he's your husband. He was just upset you made him look bad." I stare at the call screen until it stops. Then I open my messages. Not to read the flood, but to find one thread. Eli's. I scroll up until I find another text from years ago, one I remember because it made me feel small even then. "Don't be the kind of woman men fear. Be the kind they want." Under it, my reply, "I want to be the kind I respect." I take a screenshot. My general counsel clears his throat. "Nadia," he says carefully, "I need to ask, are you safe at home? Is he going to show up?" That's the moment it hits me, in a cold, practical way, that Eli knows where I live, and he's already proven he'll show up anywhere if it gets him attention. I look at my assistant. "Book me a hotel," I say. "Somewhere not near my usual." My comms director blinks. "Are you?" "I'm not going home tonight," I repeat, "and I'm not issuing a statement that protects him." They all go quiet. The silence feels like the first honest thing that's happened all day. Then I do it. The public truth. Not a long post. Not a dramatic essay. One screenshot. One sentence. I post, "I'm fine. The company is fine. Please direct business questions to IR. Personal boundaries are not negotiable." And underneath, I attach that old text. "Don't be the kind of woman men fear. Be the kind they want." Within minutes, the narrative shifts again. Not into some perfect girl boss fantasy, but into something closer, to reality. People recognizing the pattern, the control, the humiliation. The comments are a mess. Some people call me cold. Some people call me brave. Some people call Eli names. Some people ask for the tea like it's entertainment. I don't read them all. I can't. I'm not made of steel. I'm just a woman who had to keep a company afloat while her husband tried to turn her into a punchline. The board chair calls. I answer that one. He doesn't ask about Eli. He asks, "Can you keep leading tomorrow?" I stare at the city lights outside my office window and I say, "Yes." My voice breaks slightly on the word, and I hate that it breaks. But it does. Yes. When I finally leave the building, there are 2 cameras outside. One of them calls my name. I keep walking. My assistant hovers like she wants to shield me with her body. My phone rings again. Mum, Dad, Eli. Unknown. Unknown. I don't answer. In the hotel room, I sit on the edge of the bed fully dressed. Shoes still on, because my body doesn't know how to turn off. My hands are shaking now that the performance is over. I open my banking app and stare at our joint account. My thumb hovers. I hear my mum's voice in my head. "Don't make decisions when you're emotional." I hear Eli's voice. "You're overreacting." I hear my own quieter voice underneath both. "No, this is the decision." I transfer my salary account to a separate one I opened months ago, just in case, and told myself I was being paranoid. I freeze the joint credit card. I change my direct deposit details. Practical. Quiet. Not revenge. Safety. Then I open my messages and type one text to Eli. 1. No arguing. No explaining. Just a boundary with teeth. Do not come to my workplace again. Do not contact my staff. All communication goes through my lawyer. He replies instantly from the unknown number. You think you're better than me now. Followed by you're nothing without me. Followed by you'll regret humiliating me. My stomach twists, but my hands stop shaking. I don't reply. I block the number. My mum calls again. I let it ring. My dad calls. I let it ring. The family chat keeps exploding. I mute it without opening it because I already know what it will say. Half of them begging me to smooth it over. Half of them secretly thrilled, because finally there's drama bigger than their own. I lie back on the hotel bed and stare at the ceiling, and for the first time in a long time, I don't feel guilty for choosing myself over someone else's ego. The next morning, there's a headline with my face on it that makes me want to vomit. CEO's trophy wife. Texts resurface after husband crashes live call. Under it, a photo of Eli being escorted out, his expression furious and wounded like he's the victim of his own behavior. My comms director texts. Board supports you. We're running tight statement. My assistant texts. Security updated. He's not allowed in the building. My mother leaves a voicemail. How could you embarrass us? People are talking. Not, are you okay? Not, are you safe? Just, people are talking. Eli sends an email to my work address somehow, through a generic contact form, like a coward, and writes, You chose money over me, as if my job is a lover I cheated with. I forward it to legal. Then I walk into the office, past the cameras, past the whispers, past the staff who look at me with a mix of sympathy and curiosity, and I go straight into the boardroom for a crisis meeting that actually matters. Contracts, supply chain, real numbers, real consequences. Halfway through, my phone buzzes once with a new message from Eli's mother. He's devastated. You've ruined him. I don't answer that either, because here's what I finally understand. Standing at the head of a table full of people waiting for me to lead, Eli doesn't want a partnership. He wants a mirror, a wife who reflects him back the way he likes to see himself. Important, desired, in control. And I'm not that woman anymore. At the end of the day, when the building is quiet and the adrenaline has faded into exhaustion, I sit in my office and type one last message. Not to Eli. To my family chat. I'm not discussing my marriage as entertainment. Do not call my workplace. Do not contact my staff. If you care about me, you'll respect that. Then I leave the chat. Fully. No dramatic flounce. Just exit. My phone rings immediately. Mum, of course. And I watch it light up and go dark. I don't feel triumphant. I feel tired and strangely clean, like I finally stopped carrying something heavy that wasn't mine. I open my email. There's a calendar invite from my lawyer. There's a board update. There's an investor follow-up. And there's one more message from Eli, from yet another number, one line that's meant to hook into my guilt. So that's it. You're just never coming home? I stare at it for a long moment, thumb hovering, the old reflex rising. Fix it. Smooth it. Be nice. Make peace. Then I lock my phone, set it face down, and let the silence answer for me.